final afternoon of this wonderful event. Yeah, let's see, switch my view. Right, I can see you all again now. That's good. And now we have some ceremonies, and the first ceremony will be concerned with acknowledging a new teacher, or a teacher, not a new teacher, but new to us teacher. Let me tell you a little background. Quite a few years ago, I was aware of a situation involving a friend of mine who is a teacher in Spain, a Zen teacher, Rafael Rodondo. And Rafa was in a complicated situation that I don't need to explain with the organization that he had originally trained with. And it put him in a situation of being somewhat alone. And if you are a teacher, if you're a teacher of the Dhamma, of course you learn how to cope with aloneness, but nonetheless, you're human. And being alone can be something of a challenge. And you need friends, you need companions on the path. And in many of our ceremonies, we begin by invoking the help and companionship of all the Buddhas, all the Bodhisattvas. Will you come to our aid? Will you witness our words? And so on, because we give support to one another. And even we see in the larger sutra, we see Amitabha Buddha attained what he attained with the help of other Buddhas. And at the beginning of that sutra, Shakyamuni Buddha, Ananda comes and says, "Oh, you're looking very good today, Buddha." What's going on? Are you communing with the other Buddhas? Ananda says. And the Buddha says, "Very good, Ananda, you have perceived well. There is a need for companionship, for Sangha at every stage. It's not like you rise above it." So one teacher acknowledging another teacher, this is something of great importance. It strengthens the Buddhist community and creates a flowering effulgence of the Dhamma, this act of recognition. So as we've had this retreat from the 8th onwards. We're now on the 13th. I don't know if that's an unlucky day, but let's hope not. We've held the retreat on this side of the Day of Enlightenment, of Bodhi Day. We've had it after Bodhi Day, not before Bodhi Day, as we would have done in the past, to symbolize the going forth into the world, that we have received this Dhamma. We have received this great blessing from all the Buddhas of the past. And now we must go forward into the future. And over this week, we have heard about many ways in which people have gone forward and are going forward and will go forward to confront the dukkha that is in the world. All the world is on fire with greed, hate, and delusion, and so on. And so we need to go out into this with some protection, with some armor, if you like. And what is that protection? That protection is the blessing of the Buddhas. It is the great compassion, the patience, the kindness, the bodhisattva way. And this gives us protection. When one gives oneself to this spirit of the bodhisattva, then one is protected by all the devas and dragons as one goes through great difficulties sometimes. in life. And so it's very important that we have companionship. It's very important that we support one another. And this is just as true for a teacher as it is for a person who's just taking their first refuge in Buddhism. At every stage of the path, this sort of companionship is tremendously important. And I was able to do this for Rafa. He was at that point, I was able to acknowledge him as a teacher, and one teacher acknowledging another gives you strength. It's companionship on the path. And Rafa's still teaching, and we're still great amigos. And he only speaks Spanish, so sometimes we have worked together. Well, no, he doesn't only speak Spanish, he also speaks Basque, which is an even more difficult language. I know some Spanish, but I don't know any Basque. Sometimes we've worked together, and just the other day, he sent me a message, very touching in a way, saying about the difficulties of these times, lockdown and so on, and expressing the wish that the time will come when we can do something together again, because it's so difficult in these times. But of course, as we know, there's always a silver lining. And the silver lining in this case is that this global Sangha idea has come into being. And we are reaching out to each other from one continent to another, from one country to another, and creating this skein, this network of goodwill and good feeling and mutual support and so on. So it seemed to me a fitting culmination, if you like, to this retreat, that we have a recognition ceremony. And so we're going to do that. And of course, before we start a ceremony, we have some questions which you all have heard before, which I shall address to Sustama. Is the community assembled?
Yes, the community is assembled.
And is there harmony in the community?
Yes, there is harmony in the community.
And for what purpose is the community assembled today?
The community is assembled today to perform the Sangha Karman of recognizing Tinaka Osterlo as an Acharya in the order of Amida Buddha.
Well, maybe in the order, I'm not sure, but certainly to recognize her as an Acharya, yes, which is the important thing. So, Tinika, I would at this point say come forward, but of course we have to do this virtually. And I think it would be good if Sustama and Tinika and myself all make prostrations to the Buddha. And if any of the rest of you want to make prostrations to the Buddha at this point, you have shrines, please go ahead. So we're going to do that. Right. Right, now I'm all out of breath. Ah. Let me see if I can share the screen, then you'll see some of the ceremony. Okay, so we've just done this bit. Tinika, is it your wish to commit lives, present and future, to the great work of Amida's mission, the transmission of the Dharma, facilitating all who would advance in faith and acting as a channel for the saving grace of our supreme refuge?
It is.
Right, that means we're in business. One step, anyway. And do we have here a disciple?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Right. So, I think there was more than one voice there. So who is your teacher?
Tineke Osterloh.
Tineke Osterloh.
Very good. Very good. So we are making
Oh,
very definite progress here.
Yeah.
Now I know that Tineke has been teaching the Dharma for at least 20 years. She has lived in retreat centers and she has studied the Dharma. You could say substantially in Theravada tradition, but also very broadly, and has a great understanding of the essential meaning. And this great meaning, the Dharma of innumerable meanings, we say, can be poured into many forms. But the essential thing is to have contact with the essence. So I'm going to ask Tineke to read out the dedication, which is now coming up on the screen.
Okay. Before all the Buddhas and the members of the Sangha, I solemnly and joyfully undertake to dedicate all the learning, practice, and faith developed through my years of experience in the Buddhist Sangha to the benefit of the future of the religious community and the spiritual benefit of those who choose to follow the path. To myself, continue to mature in the path and to live my life both secretly and overtly in concordance with the Dharma, for the sake of all sentient beings to the very best of my abilities, and to develop my identity as a teacher, my particular strength and abilities in the knowledge of all as skillful means, while yet recognizing fully and readily, acknowledging my continuing Bombu nature. I shall not use any authority vested in my position for personal ends, personal gain, comfort, or advantage, but solely for the good of trainees and the community as a whole. I shall go forth once again in the light of Amida with whatever merit is granted me, and through that supreme grace. May the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and all spiritual ancestors and devas guide me and protect the Buddha way.
Thank you. So, in summary of this dedication, we have another way of doing this, which is called the 5 lotus vows. So I shall now administer these 5 lotus vows. And the first vow is the white lotus vow. And this is our intention to meet again, to meet together in the Pure Land. And the background to this and why it is called the white lotus vow is because in the year 401, that's quite a long time ago, in the history of our Pure Land tradition, the great master Hui Yuan established a society, a fraternity of 123 people at Mount Lu in China, which has become since one of the great holy mountains, as it were, of China, with many monasteries and so on. And these people dedicated themselves to the practice. And the central point was a vow to meet together in the Pure Land. So this commitment to meet again together in the Pure Land was right at the foundation of Pure Land Buddhism in China, very foundational for our tradition. So we vow to meet together in the Pure Land. This is the White Lotus vow. Do you undertake to take this vow or not?
Yes, I do.
And then we, for the moment, we're here. We're here in this Saha world. And so we have a green lotus vow. And green is a good color for the environment and so on. So in the meantime, while we are in this mortal life, we are here in this world of conditions, we need to take care of this world. And each of us does it in our own way. Some ways big, some ways are small, but who is to say what is big and what is small? The consequences of even offering, there's the story of the child who offered a handful of sand to a passing arahat, and who, as a result, the karma led to him becoming a Buddha in the future. So you never know. Even the smallest act of kindness, the smallest act of goodness can have incalculable consequences. Of course, some great and brave and bold actions also can have great consequence. But in the way of the Dharma, we try to get beyond these sort of worldly distinctions of better and worse, bigger and smaller, and so on. So the Green Lotus vow, while this mortal life endures, to care for this world. Do you undertake this vow or not?
Yes, I do.
And in particular, and as was mentioned in the dedication passage, caring for this world in practice often means caring for the spiritual well-being and progress of sentient beings generally, and of those who seek the Dharma path, particularly, some of whom are assembled here today. So, so one can start immediately. So this is the red lotus vow, and red is the color of, well, it's the color of this, it's the color of the robe. We appear in the world in this appearance or that appearance for the benefit of all beings. And it is the color of Amitabha Buddha. So the red lotus vow to care for the spiritual well-being and progress, all sentient beings generally, but particularly of each who seeks the Dharma specifically. Do you undertake this vow or not?
Yes, I do.
Well, in order to do it, you need some wisdom. And the color of wisdom in Buddhism is blue, color of Manjushri. So we have a blue lotus vow to do everything one can to make oneself a fitting instrument for this work. And there's a certain paradox here because we think we might naively think this means, in a sense, to sort of make something of yourself and be clever and strong and so on. And at a superficial level, that is correct. But the way to attain real strength, real resilience in the Dharma is to open one's heart, to make oneself vulnerable, to receive the light, to feel gratitude for the Dharma that has come to us. Because if one has that gratitude for the Dharma that is coming from an inexhaustible source, well, one will have a source of strength that far exceeds anything that one could do by one's own small, feeble, we could say, efforts, however worldly bold they may appear. They are tiny in the scale of things. You know, we are just little tiny creatures on a little planet in a far corner of the galaxy, and the galaxy is just nothing in the scale of things. So we are just dots on dots on dots. But nonetheless, we do everything we can to make ourselves available for the great truth that transcends all these differences of scale. So out of the blue comes the lotus, and we have the blue lotus vow to do everything one can to make oneself a fitting instrument for this work. Do you undertake this vow or not?
Yes, I do.
And finally, and in a sense most important, and therefore golden in color, we have a final vow to serve and make offerings to myriad Buddhas. This is the path to Buddhahood, to make offerings to Buddhas, and to deepen our understanding of this. In the Pratyutpana Samadhi Sutta, it says, wherever you look, there are Buddhas. Every direction you look, there are Buddhas. When your life is full of Buddhas appearing from every direction, then you receive the Dharma, and all these other vows just fall into place quite naturally without any effort at all. So we spend our time serving and making offerings to myriad Buddhas. It also says in the smaller and larger sutras that this is what you do in the Pure Land. You spend all your time making offerings to other Buddhas. And this is a wonderful thing. Amongst other things, it's a kind of manifesto for interfaith harmony, because as a Pure Land Buddhist, you can go to any temple anywhere of any religion, and you can feel a respect. You can feel a community. So, gold lotus vow, to serve and make offerings to myriad Buddhas. Do you undertake this vow or not?
Yes, I do.
Then you're on your way. You're on your way.
Thank you.
As it says at the end of some of our other scriptures, you know, the bodhisattvas rejoice and say, then you are the same as we. And this is a wonderful thing, a wonderful heart-to-heart connection. Thank you. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much. I do feel very welcome. Thank you.